Hello, vinyl community, and everybody who's tuning in to watch. We're the Vinyl Bunch. We're back again. We finally have narrowed down some questions for what we've been promising our 7-inch single meeting and tag up. So we're going to just go around. We have 9 prompts, come from all different kinds of sources, and we're just going to celebrate the format of the 7-inch single, the collectability, the memories that we have with it, and things of that nature. So with us as always, we have Barakapito Paul, Jen's Addiction Jen, Tobias. We're all here present. Let's see, Tobias, I don't think we've started off with you with any before.
No.
Let's go ahead and let's start with you. The first prompt we had was show a record that reached the #1 spot in any chart.
Yes. And I choose this one. Can anyone recognize who it is or which single it is?
Isn't that Kim Wilde's Cambodia?
It is. Yes.
Jen with the win.
There she is. I choose this one because my home country, Sweden, this one went straight to #1. And I think it's probably the single that made me discover Kim Wilde as well. It was widely popular in Sweden, and I'm still wild for it. And just look at that cover, that comic.
It's a great cover.
It
Really is.
cover. Great lyrics, a great composition, synth pop at its best. So, yeah. Kim Wilde's Cambodia.
Kim's great. I have that one too. I actually looked at it for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't had any crossovers of any of our episodes here, I think. So
Nice.
No, we've been really lucky. So going right to left on my screen. Oops, sorry.
What?
I thought you were saying something else.
No.
Oh, okay. Going right to left on my screen because I like doing things backwards. Jen, what do you got for the #1 hit single?
Well, this one came to my mind immediately. It was #1 in the Netherlands, I think, the UK, the US. I'm probably missing a couple, but it's The Reflex from Duran Duran.
Yes.
So I probably could have just done a Duran Duran 7-inch special. When it came out, I still have my picture, my poster sleeve.
Nice.
So I bought 2 because I wanted to hang the poster up and then I had to keep the poster. So so that was a biggie because as a Duran Duran fan, we would never get a #1. We would never get a #1. So The Reflex was the winner. No. Yeah.
Was that sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just going to ask, is that the remix, as I called it, because it was different from the album version, I think.
Yeah, it was a little bit different, I think, because they did the dance mix edited is what they
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did something else with it, and Nile Rodgers, of course, at his best.
Yeah. And what I love though is they have New Religion on the back, which is another great song.
Wow, that's almost like a double A.
Yeah, I know, right? You can't go wrong. There's so many, but that was pretty big. I remember just like, you listen to the top 40 and then Casey Kasem comes on and goes, man, #1, like however he says it. And I was like, we all
back when you had to listen and be excited. What's going to be #1? I have to know.
Yeah. And I would record it on my little my cassette recorder, my boombox, and then you're like waiting for #1. And yeah, so good.
Jen, I got a funny story related to that one. And I apologize to people if we go long, but so I love that song.
Yes.
I love the video so much.
Yeah.
So back in the day, because I couldn't afford that album, I had a cassette recorder with a portable microphone, and so it came on MTV. I put the microphone next to the TV, which cathode tube TV.
Yeah.
And I magnetized the TV screen doing that. So it changed, had this round color panel pattern on the
Yeah.
center of the TV, and it was our only TV. And
Oh no.
my dad was not happy, and we had to hire a technician to come in and demagnetize the TV screen.
You
But I
say,
got the
"Dad,
recording of the
it's
song.
but look what you learned. Look,
Yes.
Duran Duran brought you music education and science
Yes,
combined.
I know.
It's a pure reflex.
I'm
Yeah.
probably lucky that when you say that, because I recorded everything straight from the TV, like
Yeah.
monster movies, everything. I just stuck my little cassette box thing down in front of the speaker and recorded everything.
So I'm glad to know that I wasn't alone. But at
No,
least
you
you
were not
didn't
alone.
magnetize your TV screen.
Yeah, that I have another whole story to that on another show, but not
Right.
magnetizing my screen.
Right.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Paul, what do you got for your number one single?
All right, so people are going to see this and think I'm entirely lame because I picked my records like 5 minutes before we came on.
Oh no!
And I had to frantically Google search what number one on any chart. So I randomly I grabbed a record, and thankfully it was number one on one chart, and that is the Easy Listening chart from 1968, and that is Classical Gas
Oh, nice.
by Mason Williams, which I love. Sorry.
That's a great song.
Yes.
And no overlaps, Tim. Did you overlap that one?
No, actually, so far we are good. And I have to say I love this company sleeve as well. So I kind of knew I wanted to do something with this label for this question because I felt it was an easy one, and that's "I'll Be There" by the Jackson 5.
Nice.
So, and this one's kind of special in a couple ways. It was their fourth number one single in a row, and they were the first African American group to achieve that, or male group to achieve that. And it's considered, well, at the time at least, it was the highest grossing single for Motown during the Detroit era, which was, I think, like officially like 58 or 59 to like 74. So obviously everybody knows the song. It's been covered by Mariah Carey, but it's a huge single, and I knew I wanted to do something with the Motown label for that one, just because, I mean, during that era they had so many great hits. So
That's a great choice.
Good one.
thanks. So Tobias, number two, show a record with music from your teenage years.
Yeah, from my teenage years. There were so many records that I had to choose from, so this one was probably the one that took me the longest. But I went with one that maybe not a lot of people will recognize, but it's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I read that one.
Familiar with
Shauna
that one.
Lane, Glad I'm Not a Kennedy. Very good lyrics and an excellent pop song. It's got one of those choruses that you can't get out of your head once you heard it. It's absolutely stunning stuff, and it's one of those singles that I forgot about a bit over the years, but every time I go through my 7-inch singles like I did this week, I was like, oh yeah, that one. So this week I kept playing this one over and over again. It's one of those singles, really. So I suspected that not many people would recognize it, but it's Shauna Lane with Glad I'm Not a Kennedy. So if you're not caught up on your history around the Kennedys, she will tell you all about it in the next commencement.
And Tobias, this is why I love the vinyl community. It's like
Yep.
finding new things that you've never heard of.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's a cool cover. I
it
like
is.
the
Yeah.
cover.
And I don't know much about Shauna Lane other than this single, because I remember when I heard it on radio back in the day, I taped it off and I had one of my mixtapes, and yeah. But I have no idea about Shauna Lane otherwise. I could have looked it up, of course, but I usually don't do that because I leave it up to you, the viewers, to tell us more about it, if you know anything.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna check that one out after we're done. So,
Yeah.
Jen, what do you got?
Well, again, like Tobias, probably most of my 45 collection was, it's anything you could just pull one out and be like teenage
Yeah.
year. But I picked this one because I think the sound, the vibe, where my head was at, the sound of the music, where all of it, and you could almost see it in this little picture, kind of encapsulates what I loved about the 80s. And so this was an 84 release, so it's Alphaville's Big in Japan. And then there's a kind of a picture you can see of them. Like that is just so like me and all my moody friends going to art class. Like, that is like so. But that sound, like I remember hearing, and the funny thing is, this sleeve said it was supposed to have two different songs on it, and I think it was a promo because I've got Big in Japan on side 1 and Big in Japan on side 2.
Yeah,
So
that sounds like a promo.
Yeah, and I don't know how I ever got it with this sleeve. I don't know, but needless to say, it was that 1984. I don't know. I just think everything about Alphaville, especially that first album, even their second one, really. But man, there's just a sound, and that is it. Like that intro to this song, I could hear the first 2 little sounds to it, and I know exactly what it is. I can remember what I was probably wearing when I listened to it. Like when I listened to it, like it's just great. And also in a world where all my folks in school were listening to Van Halen and a lot of those other types of John Cougar, like whatever. Nobody was listening to Alphaville, and I don't even know how I got lucky enough to discover Alphaville. All I can think of is we had a college town. I had friends who lived on the college side of town who had brothers and sisters in college who listened to college. Like that's all I can think of because I was just so much more in tune to that style and genre of music. So when I found it, I felt super, super lucky to even find it. So
yeah,
love me some Alphaville.
Yeah, for sure. I will just add, by the way, this one came out in 1987. I forgot to say the year. If anyone's wondering. But
So
yeah,
were you
great
16
stuff.
when that was that 16
Yeah,
for you?
16, yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I think I was all 14 maybe when that one came out.
Yeah, great stuff. Alphaville was huge here in Europe, of course. And I think that was a debut single by them, or at least the first single that broke them through.
Yeah.
Really.
That whole album. Oh my God. When I finally got a record player back, there's a couple albums I had to listen to immediately. And that first Alphaville album was.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, let's do it when we're done today.
Huge stuff.
Paul, what about you? Something from your teenage years?
All right. I wish I had spent a little more time digging because I would have grabbed Jen's arch nemesis to Duran Duran. I had a David Lee Roth single from my teenage years.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll pick up my street cred a little bit with this one. Not easy listening. So quick dig. I had to go with this one. If you're not familiar with it, the band was really keeping the 7-inch format alive, and this is one of Pearl Jam's first 7 inches. And this is "Let Me Sleep" from '91.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Is that a rhino on the cover? Or?
Yep, it's a rhino on the cover. Sorry, I should hold that a little bit closer to the camera.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have to say that first, I don't listen to Pearl Jam all the time, but man, when I first heard it was Pearl Jam and I think Live, those first 2 bands that kind of came in that.
Yep.
Just really blew me away. Like there was just something about everything they made. That first album was at 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That 10 was her first record.
Yeah. Love that.
And I had no idea that they released 7 inches. So
yeah, they did. In fact, they still quasi do it. So if you're a member of their club, the 10 Club, they do a new single every year. I don't think they've been doing it recently, but for the first 20 years of the band, if you remember the club, they sent you a 7-inch single.
Yeah.
And you got discounted tickets, and they had their thing against Ticketmaster, and
Right.
if you remember the club, you got first access to the tickets, so you get real close. Unfortunately,
Cool.
they have not played Houston since 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've never been able to make use of my membership, even though I've been a member forever.
But it's a cool thing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
more artists should do that.
Yeah,
Those kind of things.
I agree. And
100%.
now that you say it though, having that 45, I don't, do we call them 45s or 7 inches? I was so used to calling them
either or.
45.
yeah. Although there are some cut at 33,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
but yeah, truly these are 45s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know
right.
what we're talking about.
But if that came out in 91, I would have not have even thought about buying a 7-inch single in 1991. So the fact that you have that, that's great. That's great.
They were really big into vinyl. I mean, they did vinyl releases of all their albums. And in fact, they had a song called "Spin the Black Circle," which I owed to playing records. I would say I wouldn't recommend buying any of their full-length albums on vinyl because they all exceed 45 minutes, all their early records. And so it just sounds really, really thin when you try and condense a full album on one LP.
Yeah.
Sorry, audiophile geeking.
But it's
It's
true.
true. I mean, a lot of those albums that started to play towards the CD format, which was over the 42, 45-minute sweet spot, they sound very, very thin.
Yep.
And some of them I really do, it's like I'd rather spend the money on a reissue that's spread out. It's going to sound better. So mine, I'm known hip hop. I'm known for all different kinds of stuff. What I'm not known for is those R&B ballads of the 80s. And this one was one, it came out. I was a freshman in high school. We were starting to go to dances. Girls were a thing. And we were like, oh, this is interesting. We didn't know that this was an option. And then this song just kind of, because it was a slow song, but it was also very smooth and it was very tender and reminiscent, and just the vocal performance was incredible. It stuck in my mind. And that's Simply Red's "Holding Back the Years."
Oh,
yeah, I love that.
I mean, it was such a complete juxtaposition of what we were used to. It's like, here's this nerdy looking guy who's got red hair, looks like he's straight out of Dexy's Midnight Runners, and then he sings this, and we're like, what the hell is going on? It was absolutely fantastic. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, I had to have it. So that single has gotten a lot of miles with me. Definitely something I enjoy. So.
That's actually one I acquired as a 12-inch last year, Tom, because I love that song.
I don't think I knew that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I would love a 12-inch of that one just because, again, I'm sure I would love to compare the fidelity. The thing with 45s, and even though they're cut at 45 and you get one song and it's on that 3-minute groove, it's still the limited real estate.
Yeah.
And because 45s were generally a little bit more portable, it's common to see a lot of those without sleeves. So a VG one still doesn't sound as bad, but I still think when it comes to a 12-inch single, you could have some imperfections and still not hear them, like visual imperfections.
Yeah, right.
And I would love to get, to me, that one would be like, I'd be worth it to see somewhat of an audiophile pressing of that album. It's a fantastic record.
Yeah, the 12-inch actually has a slightly different mix, and it's a little bit long. So I recommend it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out.
All right, absolutely stunning stuff from Mick Hucknall. I agree.
His voice is it's so underrated because it's like you don't think about it until when you do, you're like, why haven't I listened to more Simply Red? Why hasn't he been more popular? Oh gosh, so good.
And like you said, that album, if anyone's watching this, listening to us, and you haven't checked out that first album, it's called Picture Book.
Yep.
Absolutely stunning stuff. Money's Too Tight to Mention, for example, another one. there's so many different genres, and the voice, wow.
Yeah, it's a stunning voice.
Yeah,
Very unique.
great stuff.
So, Tobias, number 3, a record, or we should say, keep it the theme, a 45 7-inch from one of your favorite artists.
Yes. So these has been with me ever since I started discovering electronic music, and that is, of course, Kraftwerk. And,
Love that one.
this is from 1977, a single that I picked up probably late 80s when a collector of Kraftwerk sold off his whole collection to a local record shop back in my hometown. And it was a treasure trove. So I grabbed a couple of 7 inches, 12 inches, a couple of albums, and this is one of them. This is actually Showroom Dummies from Trans-Europe Express, but it's sung in French. So it's Le Mannequin.
Awesome.
Le Mannequin,
Nice.
even. Yeah, so absolutely great stuff, this one. And it's got the Hall of Mirrors on the B-side.
Ah,
And
yeah.
Kraftwerk did this usually with the German version and an English version, but sometimes with this one, for example, and Pocket Calculator, they did different versions in different languages. So yeah, this is a French Showroom Dummies, Le Mannequins, and I love this cover as well. With I think it is a photograph. Actually, it looks like a painting, but it's a photograph from a studio in Paris.
Mhm.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
J. Stara was the name.
Love that one. And Hall of Mirrors is so great. Like,
Yeah, is.
Mm.
And of course, let's see if we can focus. There they are at the Düsseldorf station.
yeah. That's a cool picture too.
Yeah,
I love them
meeting
so
up
much.
with meeting up with Iggy Pop and David Bowie.
Yeah, Kraftwerk is one of those groups that for me, it's like, if I were to see a single or a 12-inch or whatever, it wouldn't even matter. I could have 6
No.
copies. I don't care. I'm buying them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, well, and it, like you mentioned Pocket Calculator, because I know that one definitely had a lot of different ones. And I remember the sleeve of that almost looking like it was very clear and it had like the etching. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get that again. So it's actually in my wish list on Discogs, and I'm watching.
Yeah.
This is like, I just remember that being so big.
Yeah, it's good. And talking about fidelity as well, usually the pressings are stellar when it comes to, because they were signed to, was it EMI, but they also had their own label, Kling Klang, of course. So I think they paid a lot of attention how they were pressed and how they would sound. They're absolutely stunning, the original pressings at least.
Cool.
Absolutely.
They're the best.
So Jen, what about you? I know I have a guess on which one it might be, but
What do you think?
I think you're gonna show a Police.
Oh, I had one in my hands. But I'm not. This is and this I picked this. I have a different cover, but this cover I picked because it's pretty cool. So it was this is Blondie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually for Denise. What's cool about this is it's a Toshiba EMI, but their sheet was separate on the 45.
Oh,
It comes like this, and then
Nice.
this is a separate piece. And I just love that song, and I don't know, it's just different. You have all the kind of traditional, very Blondie-ish covers, but I like this one a lot. And of course, I like the fact it was an import, and I don't know, I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And I love Blondie, so
A lot
I
of
thought that
those Japanese pressings came like that. I have a couple of those as well. Exactly the same. It's just like
Is
an
it the same?
insert, and yeah,
yes.
really
And I
weird
hadn't
the
been
way.
familiar with that. Like I didn't
Yeah.
expect it. And is that an extension of like the Obi strips? Like they can't really do an Obi strip. so
Yeah,
they do
could
a-
be. I don't know
maybe.
really why they
no,
do that.
they typically like to do the lyrics of the song.
Yeah,
So yeah,
which is great.
yeah.
I mean, which maybe makes sense in a different market, but so this is Denise and No Imagination is the other side. Denise. Whoops.
And a
I will
great
not
cover
say-
picture.
It is a cool picture. I'm like, I want her boots. Like, I don't know, she's just jamming. I love it.
You know, that's one thing I will say about even with the 12-inch and 7-inch formats is that because you got it's such a visual, you know, you would get these picture sleeves that were just incredible.
Yeah.
And you would almost be like, look, I don't even need this, but because it's got a great picture sleeve, I have to have it.
Well, you know what I find interesting too, and this is just me maybe overthinking the world, which, you know, go figure. So everybody, of course, is into, there's like the whole generation of kids, maybe it's Gen Z or millennials or whatever, but everything was focusing on Japanese culture, like anime, and then obviously then you have the Korean culture, K-pop, and then there was food and travel, and I really feel like maybe again, I'm not saying Gen X was the best generation, but we kind of like started really buying a lot of imported records. Like I feel like that era, our era, became easier to buy imported records, and Japanese imports became such a thing. Like it was a crazy thing. Like if I was looking through and ordering Duran Duran stuff from the record store, I would seek out like Seek and Destroy. Why? Because nobody else would have that cover. Like nobody else, you know, the pressings were supposed to be better and things were supposed to be different. And it just, I don't know. I loved that whole, for me, it felt like a cultural experience at a time when you couldn't just flip a TV or a computer on, obviously, and see what was happening in the rest of the world. And I was fascinated. And I don't know. I kind of feel like we jump started that, you know, that kind of thing. Like we could have, it just felt really special at the time. And I hadn't thought a lot about it until later on when everybody is really consuming that culture in so many ways. And I think, wow, you know, we really were getting introduced to Japanese culture in a very different way, or that just, you know, that culture in general, you know, whether it was Chinese, Korean, Japanese, like we were just being able to pull and get stuff. And it just seemed so amazing. And it was so different. I mean, I remember getting British imports and it blew my mind. Like I couldn't believe I was so lucky to get, you know, a 45 or a 12-inch from another country was, I thought, just the greatest thing ever. So
yeah.
I personally like getting the Japanese CDs because they always had like 1 or 2 tracks that you couldn't find in the United States.
Yeah. Isn't that great? I mean, it's crazy to think how that all was so different and how they market things different. Not to talk about Cuckoo, but you know, Blondie, like Debbie Harry's Cuckoo, like there's differences in the packaging and the things that you got. And if like today's collectors, you want that nuanced difference. And I don't know, I thought it was amazing. Usually I liked the stuff that the Japanese and British imports would have comparatively. Maybe I was just, you know, because I'm here, but they always appealed to my sensibilities more. So I don't know, that was pretty great. But
that's an interesting observation there, Paul, because it's still the case with most artists when they release a new album in Japan, they usually get 1 or 2 extra tracks not available anywhere else. So
cool.
I don't know why, but hey.
I heard something early on. It was to combat the Japanese market or the consumers from just importing things from other countries because they always wanted to get their biggest value. So by having an extra song or two, they would wait because it would come out here, then it would come out in Japan like maybe a month or so later. So they would wait, get the full extended whatever version with all the extra bells and whistles, because why would you pay this for 10 songs when you could pay a little bit extra and get 12 or 13 and get the full experience? So
yeah, Tim, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up because I had totally forgotten about that. But yeah, I witnessed the same, and I believe that because I've heard the same story. Because when you go there and you dig around, you will find the regular editions from the native countries mixed in with the Japanese versions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think they're really cool. Like I don't even like the fact that there isn't a hole completely through on the sleeve, like that they go to a lot of trouble. Like everything just looks, you know, designed so well. Like I love the aesthetics of it, even kind of up leveling 45s, because probably most of us getting a picture sleeve in general on a 45 or 7-inch, I always thought was amazing. It was paper sleeves. It was just, company sleeves, and I don't know. They up the game.
Yeah, I did.
It's like, take my lunch money. Here you go.
Why are you so hungry? Because I spent all my lunch money on records. What?
I know. And I did. Don't tell my mom, but I did.
My mom knew and yelled at me and still did.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you want to be hungry all day, whatever.
Yeah, right. Paul, what about you? 7-inch, 45, whatever you want to call them. My favorite band.
Yeah, so I wish I had spent a little more time with this because I like to cross pollinate and show different things, but I'm going to go with this one.
So,
So this is Alice in Chains, 93 and 99. This was a record store day edition of tracks that were off the film. Was it Last Action Hero?
I think so.
Yeah, and then they had it wasn't really a greatest hits, but they had a box set that had a couple additional tracks, and this was now the only way to get this on vinyl.
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, so
Man.
I crossed the grunge territory twice. So,
Why not?
You know what? Alice in Chains is one of those bands. It's so funny when I say Alice in Chains, either people know them or they don't know them, which surprises me because I just figured everybody would know.
Yeah.
And man, their first record, like, I play that sucker at 11. Like, there is no compromise. And I'm playing Alice in Chains. It's like, crank it up.
Yeah. No, I when I was in college, I used to play them frequently. So
Yeah.
I can't say I have one singular favorite artist. I have a bunch, and I have their entire discography.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
Yeah.
And that was kind of my point of this, because it was like, okay, we talk about certain artists frequently on each one of our channels, right? Like for me, I could have done, I'll show you a Jimi Hendrix 7-inch and let's move on. That's, to me, that's kind of, I hate to say it's a cop out, but it's like, okay, well, what 7-inch is Tim going to show from Jimmy? Tim's not going to show a 7-inch from Jimmy. Like, I think it was an interesting idea to say, no, there are other interests, and then there are other bands that we really, really like, even if it's not maybe the one or two we're known for. That Alice in Chains 7-inch, I would love to have, but I know anything with Alice in Chains, if you don't get it, it skyrockets and it's ridiculous. But that doesn't mean I will not look for it. For me, everyone knows my Hendrix, my Yes, my Genesis, but a band that I've really been trying to focus on this year is Rush, and this is the single for New World Man, and I love it. I love it because it's so minimalistic, right? Everything 80s was over the top and colors and 97 collage pictures, and it was just, we're Rush.
So Rush, though.
Take the single, let's go. And I love the picture on the back. I mean, to me, Rush is one of those bands that they don't have a bad album. They're just not as good as the others. To me,
I don't even know. Like, I love Rush so much. Like, I can't even. Yeah, I love them so much.
and 10-second, just a quick 10-second thing. I have been to Rush. I've seen Rush a couple times.
Yeah.
95% dudes. There are very few women that say, I love Rush. They can go, I respect Rush. I get it, but Geddy Lee's voice grates on. I'm like, no, stop. No. Rush is amazing.
They are. I remember going to see Van Halen and getting in a fight with a guy in front of me over, he said that Alex was a better drummer than Neil. And I was like, oh, honey, no, you did not just say that to me. And then we just like went at it like head to head. And then we watched the show, and then there'd be like, we were done. They're like, we're going to fight some more. Like, I was like, Oh no, I love Rush so much. I can't even like I can't like I just and I don't talk about them a lot on my channel, honestly. Um, but I love Rush. My goal is to see them this year. We'll see, but I don't know.
I looked at tickets for when they're here. I think they're playing Tampa, and you know, and maybe this is another topic for another day where we don't show records, but maybe we just talk about some things. But I, you know, paying $300 for upper seats it doesn't make sense.
I'm literally waiting for the Hail Mary. Like, you know, like there's some I've been blessed. I've seen Rush a lot. And I've seen Neil, not that I think to see them back together. And then her name is totally blanking on me.
Yes, I can't remember her name either.
But I think she does an amazing job. I think it's going to be fantastic. I have experienced that, but you can't. Yeah, I mean, New World Man. I mean, you show that 7-inch, and I could just hear it playing in my head, and you know, you're Rebel and a Runner. Yeah, it's so good.
You know, and that's the thing is that they had so many. It's funny because people will say, "What's your favorite era of Rush?" Because they had their you know early prog stuff and their you know Dragons and Snow Dogs and all kinds of crazy stuff, and then they had their synth stuff, and then they had their harder, more almost progressive metal stuff, and they always found a new way to find a new sound, and just
Neil was amazing. I get goosebumps watching. I just can't. Yeah, they're so good.
They really are. And the fact that Neil wrote their lyrics, it's like, what? The drummer's writing this. So good.
Okay.
Loved it.
I'm really fascinated about this because I have to say I have no point of reference when it comes to Rush. I know there's a band called Rush and they're probably from Canada, but that's all I know. I can't remember even hearing Rush ever in my life. And now I'm really intrigued. I need to listen to some Rush.
You might appreciate like Power Windows, Grace Under Pressure. It had that synth element to it, which was very controversial with fans, but
Hold Your Fire is another good one.
Yeah, the song that everybody knows is like Tom Sawyer.
Limelight is so
Spirit
good.
of Radio.
Yeah, but like I said, you got me intrigued. I know, Jen, you talked about Rush before, but I always been like, I have no clue.
But I wonder if it's like localized to North America. So like Tobias, one of the ones that I always like to bring up with folks in England is Status Quo.
Yeah.
Like Status Quo was huge in England and a bigger part of Europe. You come to the United States and you mention Status Quo, everybody goes, what?
Yeah.
One song, and that's literally what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know what?
We had to. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you know what? If I get listening to Rush, I probably recognize a couple of songs because they've been playing somewhere. So who knows? But you got me intrigued. Absolutely.
Well, there you go. For if you know Tobias's taste, recommend him a couple Rush albums or songs to just whet his appetite. Yeah, I do agree with Jed. The synth era, Power Windows, Grace Under Pressure, Hold Your Fire, which has some incredible duets with Amy Mann.
What about 2112?
Yeah. There are days you need some 2112 in your life.
Look,
I don't know.
2112 and I have a very interesting history.
Yeah.
And it's very elevated.
Wow.
God.
Well, before this gets into another topic and I'm confessing sins of the past, let's move on.
Yeah.
Your newest acquisition, and I did it in the spirit of what was the newest pressed 45 7-inch you got, and that was the spirit what I meant. But if you did your interpretation, that's fine as well. But we'll go with that. So Tobias, what do you got?
Yeah, that was my interpretation of it as well. So in December last year, I picked up this one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember you showing.
Yeah. Wonderful Christmas time with Paul McCartney, of course. It's my favorite Christmas song, so I just have to have it on a 7-inch as well. It was only a single track, really. You could get it on deluxe editions that was released a couple of years ago, but it came on yellow vinyl as well.
Nice.
So,
Oh,
Perfect.
but the thing is, with this punch out here, it's a bit too tight so I had to really carefully trim out some of the inners here because it wouldn't go on to the puck. So really weird stuff. But yeah, one of my favorite singles. So that was my latest 7-inch acquisition, really. I mean, it's stupid because I already have it on the archive collection of McCartney 2. But hey, you got to have Paul
How could you
in
not
a
have that?
Santa hat.
yeah, and that picture is just great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Wow. All right. So I took it to mean newest 45 you've purchased by the newest band.
Okay.
That works.
And
Yeah.
so that for me was Amel and the Snippers. You should not be doing that.
Nice.
And I don't know, I know it's a PGG show, but if you can tell what she's doing, that you should not be doing. But man, it's just so good. It's like side ones, you should not be doing that. Side B is facts. But I love them so much. And
That's
oh
her
my
to a
God.
T.
Yeah, really. Hey, and you know what's sad is I still haven't picked up the new album.
Oh,
It's
that's
so
great.
good.
That's great.
It's so good. So good. It's just, you know what, though, I have to say, we really wanted to go see them. But last May, we went to go see The Damned. And so we were up front, as we should be. And
Right.
then all of a sudden, the mosh pit throwdown starts happening. And we're all like, we are too old to be doing this. And so we thought about seeing them.
Yeah.
Brandon's like, we need to go back like in the cheap seats because we do not even want to be in the crowd surfing area for that show. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. I should not be doing that. Yeah. So they're great,
Yeah.
though.
That band I'm familiar with, so
Well, so Canadian prog, no. Australian punk, yes. Okay, we
Yeah.
got the lot. Paul, what about you?
Okay, mine has a story about it, and this is the one that I hinted a little bit during our last hookup because I bought it with intention. So my daughter is in student council, and she was trying to come up with fundraising things, and me being a stupid dad gave her an idea which she immediately passed on. But I had to go find the video associated with it just to show it to her, which she really got annoyed with anyway. And I told her she could redo the lyrics of the song to fit what she was doing at school. But I got to know if Jen and Tim got to experience this back in 1986, because I didn't get to experience it at all because of my geographic location. But I could do the action just as well as anyone could. And that is Hands Across America.
We are.
I remember that, and oddly enough, I could have been in the line, but something fell through.
Come on, it went through DC, it went through Indiana. Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get to hold hands? Come on. I just wanted to hold hands. I was in Wyoming. I could hold hands just like anyone else could.
I feel like I don't remember. I don't remember. Does it give the date when they did it? Because
Yes.
I feel like we got pulled out of class for something. Maybe we were still in. That was like the end of the school year.
Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah.
I can see that the song just left an impression. Maybe not.
I don't remember the song, to be honest, but I remember.
Oh, come on, that. But the video had C3PO and Robin Williams kind of just like doing the wave together.
Yeah, yeah,
Toto did the music.
yeah. I do remember that though. I feel like I feel like there were a couple things happening around that era, and I could be off on this date, but I also remember raising money with candy bars because they redid the Statue of Liberty. If anybody
Okay.
remembers doing that. So there was that happening. And then there was like Live Aid and We Are the World. And then there was like I remember it was like the era of like large collective.
So you want to know what the B-side was?
What is it?
Can't
I
see
can't
it.
read.
The
What makes you read
B-side is We Are the World.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it says it right there.
Yeah.
And that came out the year before, right?
Right. And it was the same organization that sponsored it, and you could get T-shirts, and there's
Yeah.
videos of Ronald Reagan holding hands with Nancy and a bunch of school kids. But they almost made the complete chain across the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was the Indiana location at?
Indianapolis.
And then it went up to Chicago.
Yep, went up to Chicago.
See, and I feel like that's like the direct route through my neck of the woods. Like I keep feeling like there was something. Yeah, I just feel like we got pulled out at like the end of the school year, kind of. I don't know. I could be wrong. If anybody
Disappointment. You could have held hands.
I know.
So being the lame dad I was like, hey, you could grab all the students and hold hands around the school and try and raise money for it. And she was like, no, that's lame.
The best you got, Dad?
Yeah.
I recognize that the Hands Across America, because I remember back in the day, I think we saw something about it on the news that they were doing all this this thing in the US, but I can't remember the song at all if I ever heard it. So
Me either.
I will say it charted. It got all the way up to 65.
wow.
Yeah, that's representative of how good it was, honestly.
Yeah.
It was quite the stunt, but that kind of fills that era, like all those little side projects and
Yeah, I want to go back to the era where we can all hold hands again.
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't we hold hands again?
I know
We need it more than ever.
Yes.
We do need it more than ever. We do.
Sorry, I had an alert that
But
said
maybe
my
a better
battery might
song.
run out. It's like, no, not the battery running out. So what? Make sure my laptop is plugged in. All right, so mine is a reissue of a song that came out in May of last year. And when I saw that it was coming out, I freaked because original presses of this 45 sell for $600-700.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So it was an obscure B-side to an obscure single that was released, when one of those random things that, people did in the 70s of just, hey, I can go in studio, pay $500 for a cut of single, that type of thing, was doomed for obscurity. Enter in hip hop, who was looking for those random things. And oddly enough, to tie it back to Jen, it was the first time I knew of it being sampled was De La Soul.
Yeah.
On Potholes in My Lawn. It was that
Love
piano loop that dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, and that's Synthetic Substitution by Marvin Bliss.
Wow.
So this one, they didn't even make it look like the original, which is fine. That's the 7-inch. So they got the rights. They did a reissue. The B-side is a remix of the same song. The original song, this was the B-side, but the A-side is, I've heard it, it's fairly forgettable. But this one is just, it's a fun, enjoyable soul song from the 70s. What it was doomed for obscurity until, again, these rare hip hop DJs who have found these obscure beats or whatever. And obviously, these kids couldn't afford these. Because back then, it would have even probably been expensive. So they were getting these bootleg Ultimate Beats and Breaks records and things like that, which is where a lot of that stuff was sampled from. But there was a series that they used to have on YouTube called Crate Diggers, where they would go and go to different DJs and producers' houses, and they went to Dan the Automators, and he had this, and he had the Honey Drippers and Pete's the President in glass, and in the little plaque that said, "In case of emergency beat needed, break glass," because it's been sampled hundreds of times. But yeah, it's like I said, there hundreds of samples from it, but the one everybody here would know was Potholes in My Lawn. So when I saw that got reissued, I was like, I think it was like $17. I'm like, how are you gonna charge me 40? I would have bought it. And it's when I'll spin, I'll dance and be happy, and then move on.
So this was your latest acquisition of a 7-inch.
It was my newest. Released.
Yeah. When did you pick it up? Sorry if I didn't.
Right out in May of 2025.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
I bought some since, but they're obviously older presses and stuff like that. That's my newly pressed 45.
Yeah. Cool.
That's very cool
story.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah, it's an interesting, and when you hear it, you're like, I know that part. I know that part.
Yeah.
It's the drums and it's that piano loop, and you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, I hear so much. So, and that's what I love about the sampling era, is that you hear something and you love the way it got looped or chopped or whatever, and then you go and check out the original, you find something completely new and interesting that you love, and then you go down another whole rabbit hole. So I love that I'm still learning about music from the sampling era. Love it.
That's cool.
That's cool.
All right, so number 5, Tobias, you bought the single you bought for the B-side.
Yeah, and I said this before we started recording. This was my hardest one because most of my singles I bought because of the A-side, right? But then all of a sudden something appeared in my collection, and it's this one. And you can't really tell who it is if you don't recognize the cover. It's Kylie. Lights, Camera, Action.
Nice.
So, just a short story. When she released Tension, the album Tension, just shortly after that, she released another album called Tension Extensions. So it was extended versions of all the album tracks. So when she released Tension 2, I was like, yeah, surely we're going to get an extended one. But it took some time. So she had this single that you can buy from her web store. And it had Lights, Camera, Action, the extended version on the B-side. So that's why I bought this one, because I was like, yeah, at least I can listen to this one. And a good thing, because she only released the extensions on digital files. It's never been released on a physical vinyl copy or CD. So basically, the only way to get it is to get the single. And it's one of those poor extensions, really. I think it's just over a minute longer than the original. But hey, it's an extension. And it did come on... it's just black vinyl. I thought it was...
Okay.
But hey, it's Kylie.
Yeah, as soon as you said Kylie, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is, but you guys will never guess this one. All right. So this is hard, though, because much like Tobias, I bought record 45s anyway, because it was something I wanted.
Right.
This one, though, I don't even remember how I discovered the B-side, except that I think it was in the regular paper sleeve. So as you're flipping through records, I think it was turned around. I'm trying to remember when I got it. So I think it was like 81 or so. So I was probably 10, 11 years old, flipping through records, So the A side is called Cool Love. It's by Pablo Cruz. You can see I even wrote my initials on it because I took it to school to listen to. But the B side is why I bought it, and it's called Jenny. So,
Oh,
so there you go. I think it does get some Spotify play, and I honestly can't really remember. I think they just go Jenny, Jenny, or something. I don't know. So,
See, I have a different Jenny in my head right now. So,
yeah. Wait, Jenny from the block?
no, when you said Jenny, Jenny, my brain went, who can I turn to? And
75309.
Yep,
I've got that too.
I do too.
But I bought that for the A side. So
Well, yeah, that was the A side. So
I was so bad. I was like, oh my God, my name's on the record. Can I have it? Can I have it? Like, and I'm sure when I listened to it, I was like, yeah, okay.
yeah, right. Meh.
Yeah. I probably appreciate it more now than I did then, but
Right.
far be it for me to pass on my name on a record.
Trust me, I am a geek, especially having been a former DJ. Whenever I heard someone say Timmy or Timothy in a song,
Uh-huh.
I would geek out. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I will say though, later in life, when I was old enough to date and go out, if somebody was of the right era, they'd be like, "What's your number?" It's 67530. I'd be like, "Yeah, no."
See, and I remember the stir that song created, where everyone would in their hometown call that number, ask for
Yeah.
Jenny. They were like, we had to discontinue the number for a long time. I remember the issue with that. It's so
I
good.
think I did hand it to people I didn't really want to give my number to, maybe a couple times. I'm not gonna say I didn't do that. I think I did, but
Paul, what do you got?
so this question was actually the easiest one for me to answer. In fact, when you came up with the list, it was automatic for me because it was when I got back into record collecting, this was the must 45 single for me. In fact, I liked it so much when I didn't have it, I called a radio station and I had them play it, and they didn't play it until like 3 a.m. But when they did play it, I was like, yes. It's a little bit of a travesty because it didn't really, it was released as a single, but it didn't get like it's due until the 90s. And so the band was not a singles band, but they did put out one or two. And so Led Zeppelin put out in 70 the Immigrant Song.
yeah.
And the B-side to the Immigrant Song was a song called Hey, Hey, What Can I Do?
Yeah.
And this did not come out until they got really into the CD era, and they did their remastered box set. But it's a track that is on par with anything else on their catalog. And it should have gone on the album Coda. And I think when they did reissue it, they did put it on the Coda and in an extended form. But yes, if you're not familiar with this track, this is as good as anything that they ever put out, and it's a crime it never made the album Zeppelin 3.
Yeah. It's a great
Yeah,
song.
it's funny. I pulled that because I was like, it's worthy of mentioning if it doesn't come up, which I kind of figured you were going to. But it's one of those ones that for years I was going crazy to figure out where is this song. It's not on any album that I have, and I have an 80s reissue where it started to creep up, and I think classic rock radio was playing it again. But to your point, I remember when the tribute album Encomium came out, and was it Stone Temple Pilots that I think covered that?
They did the song Thank You.
That's right. Maybe it was Hootie and the Blowfish cover.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And that turned into a whole thing.
Yeah.
And people were like, wait, what
Yeah.
Zeppelin song is this? And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
exactly.
God.
Yep.
But no, you're right. Plant's performance on that one was just so good.
Very
And
good.
it really should have been on Zeppelin 3. I don't know
Yeah.
what you cut off Zeppelin 3 to put it on there, because that might be my favorite Zeppelin album. But you know, you put that one on there, not even a question about might. It definitely would be.
Yeah, to correct myself, no, Stone Temple Pilots did Dancing Days, and Duran Duran did Thank You.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's crazy to even think they did that.
Which, real quick side note, Jen, did you see that they're reissuing the wedding album?
Which album?
Duran Duran is reissuing the wedding album,
Oh,
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
and I am all about pre-ordering the hell out of that. So
Yeah, I probably
whoa.
ordered that one. I have it on CD. I never
Mhm.
had that, and I've been on the hunt for an original one.
Yeah,
but-
they're crazy
Yeah.
priced, and I'm like, nah,
Mhm.
I will get a reissue. Thanks.
But totally, it'd be fun. And you know, and I love that. I am just as I can geek out as a Duran Duran fan. I'm like, oh, it's their parents, and look at that.
Yeah, no, I love that
Good.
album. I'm stoked that it's
Good.
getting a reissue. So
It was a nice comeback. But yes, thank you for reminding me. Actually, I need to be looking.
yes, so mine, I kind of knew that artists did these only B-side singles and stuff like that for a while. And I don't remember how I stumbled across it, but again, early in childhood, you know, I'd earn, you know, $1 doing whatever. And I remember the apartment that we lived in PG County, Maryland. There was a mall across the street, and there was a record store called Record Town, and I could get singles 95 cents. With tax, it was $1. So it worked out well. And I don't what one I bought that told me there was, oh, this isn't on the album. It says almost unavailable elsewhere. It was kind of cool. So for a long time, I always looked at singles to go, well, what is it got on the B side? And this would have been in the cassette single days that I saw and knew about this and said, I have to buy this. And then when I got back into collecting vinyl, I actually hunted this one down. So Living Color, when their lead single for their second album, Time's Up, came out, it was a song called Type. Love the song, whatever. I didn't buy it for that. On the B side, they cover the Clash's Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Okay.
And if you've never heard this cover, Corey Glover's voice hits a note that's not humanly possible. He lets out this high-pitched wail scream that the first time I heard it, my friends and I are in the car, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to check this out. Living Color covered the Clash. So we slap it in and, you know, listen to it. And he hits this note, and I swear we all just stopped in the middle of the road. We're like, what the hell was that? It was incredible. And I was already a Living Color fan, but yeah. This one, woo, yeah, this is it's a great version of that song.
That's a band I need more of their original vinyl of too. I love Living Color.
I will say that the Time's Up, not Time's Up. I know Time's Up is on Music on Vinyl. I got the reissue of Vivid that came out like about a year or so ago, and it sounds really good.
Does it sound good? I've just been looking for the original. I had CDs. I didn't have the records, but yeah. More like, do I want an original or do I want? I don't know.
The reissue sounds really good, and it's you can get it for like 25-ish bucks. I mean, obviously, if you can get an original for not that much more, if it's a good condition, it's always good to do that.
Right.
But yeah, no, Living Color to me is one of those bands that they deserve everything that they get with their praise, because so good.
They're so good.
All right, so we are on to number 6, a colored 7-inch single vinyl. Tobias, you've already shown it.
Yeah.
So
I did. I actually have quite a lot of colored vinyl, it turns out. So I picked one from The Audience, So this is a band. This was a breakthrough for Sophie Ellis-Bextor. She was a lead singer for The Audience, and they released a bunch of great 7-inch singles. And this is one of them. It's called I Know Enough, and I Don't Get Enough. And it comes on these absolutely wonderful radiating
cool.
green.
I love that.
That's a
It
I like
great.
the label. The label's neat too.
It is. If I can show it the right way around here. Yeah.
It's cool.
So it's an indie label that they were on. They were an indie rock band kind of thing. Yeah, really good stuff with a great voice, of course, to match it. So
Did you get her new album?
yeah, I did.
Is it
Perimenopause.
good?
It's really good. It was in my list of best albums of last year, 2025.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now
It's,
I remember you showing it.
Yeah, it's more back to where she started with the disco pop
Okay.
kind of thing, but she does it so well. And
Yeah. I love the Kitchen Disco album. That was great.
yeah, no, so I think she just followed on that because
Okay.
of the resurgence of Murder on the Dance Floor as well.
Yeah.
So she went with that. No, really good album. With a track co-produced with Mr. Chic himself, Nile Rodgers.
Oh no, just
Mm.
yes. I need to get more of her stuff after watching your video, Tobias, on her, and then re-acquainting my ears to like, oh yeah, okay, now I know.
Yeah.
She
Now I
has
know
a
the way down.
fantastic discography.
I don't
Yeah.
know how well she's been received really in the US. I know she's been touring there at the end of last year. She did a couple of concerts, but I think it was
Yeah.
mainly in California. So
I think so too.
Yeah, I wasn't really truly exposed to her until I went to Europe, but at the time I was there, I mean, Murder on the Dance Floor had come out, and of course there was the track with DJ Spiller that she did the
Yeah.
vocals for that was playing all the
Groove
time.
Jet.
Yep, Groove
That's a
Jet.
big one.
Yeah, and that's when I got a 12-inch.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's good. Yeah. People need more Sophie Ellis-Bextor in their life.
You're right.
I would agree
I
with
know,
that.
All right. So it was kind of hard. I didn't have as much colored 45 7 inches as I thought I did. But then again, so, but what I did choose was the Cramps Big Black Witchcraft Rock. It's got Butcher Pete on the second side, but it's their label Vengeance, so it's on red.
Nice.
That's a nice red.
Yeah, this
It is.
you know, you can't go wrong with the Cramps.
No.
I was gonna say nobody here is shocked you showed a cram 7.
Comfortable. No, I don't
No.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah, I love that one. But yeah, it seems like a lot of their stuff. Again, there's just things I know I just could go on a tangent and I won't, but I just feel like there's a lot of things I pay attention to now that I don't feel like I saw a lot of. Like I didn't see a lot of colored 45s. I didn't see a lot of 7 inches with the hole versus the larger disc, like puck, you know. I finding those, I thought, ooh, this is exotic and different. Like I didn't have it, just so many things I just didn't see. And then now I do, and I think, where have I been? Like where did all these wonderful things come from? It was just, I feel like I just saw the same Chrysalis label over and over, or the same Sire or whatever. And it was just basic black vinyl with a hole stamped in it and out the door. So I don't know. So I'm mesmerized. It's like I'm in a candy store. Like, wow. But a lot of their records of that era too are colored in some capacity. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it feels like the whole, and I know that there's a million subgenres of what we would have said back then as punk, but punk really embraced the limited idea of 7-inch and colored vinyl and crazy packaging and minimalistic. And it was a 7-inch. You played it at 45 RPM, but you got 6 songs on it. You don't know how that happened, and, you know. But
they're all
it
like
was
30 seconds a piece. So
yeah.
and you're dead milkman. Yeah, so good.
And what's crazy is that I grew up right outside of DC, and I'm granted, now you're not saying that the DC is a mecca of punk, but we had some punk.
You had the
punk
bad
from there.
breaks, man.
Maybe stop.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
and Ian Mackay and
Yep.
you know, Henry Rollins was originally from Arlington. It just, you know, there's a lot of punk history in that area. I don't recall in the 70s and 80s going into a record store and seeing these crazy punk 7-inches there. I just don't.
No, because you
But
bought
I'm
them
with
at
you.
shows.
When I see them, I'm like, I want to learn about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing most of the punk records, like Naked Ray Gun or
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things that came to mind. But you went to a show and you bought them at the show. Like I didn't see them necessarily in the bins unless you were at a college record store radio. Like then you
Yeah.
might see them, but
That's true.
a lot of them were purchased at the shows. Like that was just the hustle, or out of the back of their trunk on the way to the next show or whatever. So
It's true.
maybe they got a deal on colored vinyl. Maybe it was cheaper. Maybe it was like some weird, like if you buy 50 of these, we'll give you, you know,
Yeah, right.
maybe. You never know. It's very punk rock.
Yeah,
then.
that's well, yeah. I mean, anything against the norm, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
I think that was rather why they choose colored vinyl is because to stand out from the rest, breaking free from the black tediness of all the other
Yeah.
7-inches. Perhaps it's just my theory, but yeah.
Could be, well, if you're bootlegging stuff too, I noticed like I have some bootleg cramps at that era when they weren't allowed to record. And so people were just hungry for cramped music, and there's so much bootleg material. And it's always some really weird, dull purple or like a mossy green or something. I
Yeah.
always think they must have just had a discount. Like, you pay this much for black or this really weird color that nobody wants.
Yeah, right. Nobody's using this one.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody used that, so they bought it anyway. But I have a lot of colored vinyl bootlegs, but they're not the prettiest colors.
No.
They're like the oops colors, like, oh,
Yeah, right.
no one told us red and green made brown. Like, there you go. So
Paul, I'm sure you got some unique pieces. What you got?
And so this one, before when I saw the question, I was like, I don't know if I had anything. And then I brought out my box and I summoned to it. I actually had a lot more than what I expected, but so this is kind of bugging me. Are you guys shrink on or shrink off?
off,
Off.
usually off.
There we go.
Someone
someone's
watching this
freaking
one,
out.
yeah, they're gonna freak out. They're gonna have an aneurysm after this.
Just save the sticker, Paul. Save the sticker.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Air's Playground Love with
Yes.
Gordon Cracks, who
Yeah.
is actually the lead singer of Phoenix. So this is one of my favorite tunes from the French electronic group Air. It was a record store day. I just ripped off the sticker, but it came on this lovely yellowish type color.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
it's amber.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's. I honestly, I don't even think I knew that Air had a 7-inch single out there. So now I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that one.
Yeah, they did this specifically for Record Store Day. I think they had it as a CD single. Yeah, I just really love the song. But yeah, I had more colored pieces. In fact, I had one with I couldn't find it this morning when I was grabbing it, and it was my original one, but it had glitter pressed in the wax. Yeah, colored glitter all pressed in the wax. And then I have another one somewhere which I couldn't find either that has yarn. Colored
Yarn.
Yeah, pressed in the wax.
Wow, that must be a thick record.
Yes, yeah.
My
But I
goodness.
don't think I would play it because
Yeah.
when you're pressing an already thick material, I'm always worried about the needle getting caught on things that pop out of the vinyl.
That would be my cringe on the glitter because that would be easier for it to pop out.
Yep.
No.
Well, is
Mhm.
that different than like I just got a new Oh my gosh, I got a new Damned record, the new one they just released, and it's got like a sparkly glitter
Yeah.
pressed in the, but I can't feel it. But yours are like much more visible, like
Yeah,
chunky?
it's visible. I have another record. There was another label that liked to do creative stuff like that, and
Yeah.
they had concert posters kind of ripped up and torn, but pressed in the wax.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You could see parts of the poster, and some of them were okay, but others of them you had paper popping out. I'm like, beautiful to look at, not wonderful to play.
Yeah, right.
I had that back in the 90s, especially with Chicago house records from Trax and things like that.
Mhm.
Because the story goes, or the rumors at the time, was that they melted down old vinyl records and they didn't bother taking off the labels.
Yep.
So I had a couple of those that were actually paper sticking up.
Yep.
From
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the original reggae 7 inches are the same way, because in Jamaica, I mean, if they couldn't sell the 7 inches, they just grind it back down, label and all. and
Yeah.
repress.
Oh, that's crazy.
Not great
know.
quality.
No,
No,
but it gives it a nice aesthetic style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
that's true.
So mine, it's funny that we mentioned, you know, that we got on a side tangent with Punk and the Cramps, because mine's Bad Brains.
Oh, perfect.
This
That's
was
great.
this would have been later in the 90s, 94, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 94 for this one, and it's also on red vinyl. But this would have been when they were on major label. They were on Maverick
Yeah.
at that point. So but yeah, I have some, but not a lot. But yeah, well, I thought this one was kind of cool. Plus it's Bad Brains. How can you go wrong with it?
And
A
do you
lot
know
of
how
those,
to manage?
those early punk ones go for a lot of money.
Some
Like-
of them
like-
do, yeah. This
Yeah.
one wasn't too bad, but earlier Bad Brain stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And you know, we managed to do the whole stoplight system here as well. We had a green one, a red one, and an amber one.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
I love it.
But we're not stopping because we still got 3 more.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so
Green light.
Yes.
this one I kind of threw as a curveball so we could kind of share some either unique stuff or whatever, or maybe share some things that people don't always see. So Tobias, a single that you're pretty sure the rest of us wouldn't be as familiar with. It doesn't necessarily mean the artist, but just something you maybe didn't know existed, or whatever the case may be. So your interpretation on what you got.
I could pick any Eurotrash that I had in mind. It was pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
Well, I went with Fad Gadget with Ricky's Hand. This was on Mute Records from 1980. I'm pretty sure none of you have this one, but I can. Absolutely fantastic stuff from the creative minds of Fad Gadget, or Rick Tovey, as he was called, his real name, and Daniel Miller, who was label boss for Mute Records. So I don't know how well you can see it, but there is an instruction how to do a handshake as well. Gruesome. But what I really love with this one is really catchy synth pop song, really. But there is an important message down here. It says important, and I will read it out. Only synthetic sounds sources have been used in the making of this disc, excluding the voices, of course, and some tape loops they used. And they also highlight the Black & Decker V8 double-speed electric drill as well. Because in the chorus of the song, you have this electric drill that they recorded as a sound. And the funny thing, throughout the last chorus, they make a tonal change by revving it up a bit more. So it's electric drill have a big part in this one. And I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
I'm really intrigued by that now.
Yeah, our good friend Hannah, the Omaha introvert, is a big Fad Gadget fan. And if you go back and you look at some of her videos, she likes featuring them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I've been privileged to see Rick Toby or Fad Gadget on stage before he unfortunately passed away way too early. And he had this antics. He was absolutely wild on stage. You know, it was this whole punk aesthetic. He used to cover himself in shaving cream and feathers and things like that. It was absolutely wild.
I love that.
Great artist. So yeah, to anyone's watching this one, go and check out Fad Gadget if you like that post-punk kind of stuff.
Is it kind of like when I think about Skinny Puppy Live? It was such a visual show.
Yeah, very visual. But he was a one-man show, right? And he had the energy of 1,000, really. But yeah,
Wow.
absolutely
That's
Skinny
cool.
Puppy kind of levels of showmanship.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. Well, I don't know if you guys have this or have heard this. Yay. I love this. This is a spoken word record based song. But oh my gosh, I don't even know. I've had this since I was a young kid, and I something must be wrong with me. Okay, so it's called Love and Death and the American Guitar.
Wow.
And it's by Jim Steinman. So it's really a B-side to his song, which was Rock and Roll Dreams Come True. If you ever remember that, it was like part 1 and 2. I think that's really what he was known for. Which, okay, fine. I love Love and Death and the American Guitar. And it is bizarre. I don't know that any kid my age probably at the time should have been. But because I can't play it, if you've never heard it, like just a taste, he says, I remember everything. I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. I was barely 17 and I once killed a boy with a Fender guitar. Like that is like how it starts. And, and it just kind of goes through, and it's so like I almost imagine myself at a beatnik bar, like going like this, reciting it. It is bizarre, and it is so intense. At the very end, he's expressing to his parents, you have a hell of a lot to learn about rock and roll. But the way he emotes and is so passionate, and it kind of has this weird stormy sound in the back, and it's kind of spooky, and it's very disturbing. And he's gonna go and like kill somebody else with his guitar, but he stops. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's great. But if you've never heard it, I think you should listen to it at least once.
Nice.
I thought it was a great title. That's why I said wow. It was like,
I know.
You're right.
There's a lot of wow, I ran upstairs to my parents' bedroom, and he's like, Mommy and Daddy were sleeping in the moonlight. Like, it's very weird.
wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you gotta listen to it. Everybody should listen to it once.
All right.
But if you remember the song that made him like kind of famous, like the top 20 hit or whatever, Rock and Roll Dreams Come True, and then you hear this, and you're like, what? So it was pretty cool though. I liked it. I love that. I don't know. I love it. I love it.
All right, Paul. How do you follow that?
No, that was a good one. I'm gonna have to go find that one. But
Yeah.
If I can find it and put it on my Spotify playlist, even it'll be at the bottom of the list when you add them. But I'll try to find it and put it on there too.
So for me, you guys may be familiar with it. I don't know, but I got to credit. There's a couple of really, really good labels that do 45s. So Coal Mine Records is one. I think they do a huge emphasis on modern soul 45s, but I will say Third Man Records, Jack White's label, was really, really big. And I would say if you did their vault package,
Yeah.
I had to stop with the vault because they issue these box sets and it's like, I just don't have the room anymore. But along with their box sets, they do 7 inches, but they had, in their earlier days, they had runs where they'd bring in artists just to do an A and a B side. So I bought a bunch of those. Beck did a and a B side at Third Man Records Studio, but for this one, I had to grab the Japanese rockabilly band, the 5, 6, 7, 8s.
Yeah.
They're great. Yeah.
So they did 2 cuts at Third Man Studio. So they did the Raccoon song and the Soba song, and they're just fun. I mean, everything is in Japanese, but just high energy, and yeah, they're fantastic if you haven't heard them.
Yeah, I think their biggest claim to fame was they were featured in Kill Bill, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should have grabbed something else.
No, you know what though? Here's the thing.
But yes, they were. Yeah,
Everybody knows.
yeah, they did that song. Yep.
I don't even know who the hell they are. And honestly, I forgot about them, and then you showed them, and it's like, oh my gosh, they were so fun. And it's so funny to sit there and see these girls dressed up like 50 sock hop girls and just playing these fun, upbeat songs. And I remember seeing a video and the crowd's going nuts.
Yeah. But it's funny that you met. I was just going to say, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when you showed that one, I was like, I recognize that name. And Tarantino came up in my head, but I couldn't really place it. But yeah, it is.
I was trying
I am glad that more than just me is familiar with them.
They're wonderful. Well, you know, I love some rockabilly. I'm a rockabilly fan, but they do great stuff at Third Man. I was trying to look because your record reminded me too, when you get those Third Man records, he always seems to have a color story.
Yeah.
Like
this one doesn't have anything, but the other thing that
kind of blue though, that one had the blue or that okay. And I think we went there last year, which I've got one of those. I tell anybody who's not been to the Nashville store, it's fun. It's so cool to see. But he does the coolest covers on this is just Dead Weather, but the coolest covers, you know. Yeah. But I loved yours though. I thought these were the same. Yours has that the 5, 6, 7, 8 on the cover. It's kind of like a bluish background, right? Like a blue tint.
They did a whole series of that around 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like about them too. So if you look at your records, he's really good because there's always inscriptions in the dead wax.
Yeah, which I loved. Yeah, so good. I love a good mystery. Of course, I can't see. It's even a bigger mystery for me because I can't see.
I would show it on camera, but it's not going to show up.
I think they have a store in London, Tobias. But
they have.
It is so fun. The one in Nashville it was just fun. I'd like to go to the one up in Detroit because I'd like to see the pressing plant. Yeah. But this was really just so, it was so cool. Like we could have spent longer, but we had to hightail it out of town that day. So we didn't stay there as long as we wanted to, but just super neat. And to see the studio that they like recorded in, and it goes like straight to, it's neat. It's neat stuff.
Do they still have the pay? I don't know, whatever it was, $20, $30, and you can go into the booth and cut your own record. I know they had it at one point, but I feel like now that they're bigger, that's harder to do.
They still had the booth set up. They were demoing all the new foot pedals. I think maybe you could, but there was something that day that maybe it wasn't like working. I don't know, something, or maybe you have to make an appointment to do it.
That would make sense.
It might be it. So we kind of like, they were buzzing people in at first, and then eventually they opened the door and let them in. But it's such a small, tight space in this industrial section of town, and easily missed if you don't know what you're looking for, probably. But it's cool. It's a neat place. A lot of history kind of throughout. So.
Well, yeah, especially being in a town like that. So for mine, I had a couple that came to mind, and then when I was flipping through, I kind of bailed on all of them because I completely forgot I had this, and I thought, this is unique and something you don't see all the time. And I thought Jen would get a kick out of it. So it's a 7-inch, played at 33 speed, and it's called The Haunted House and Other Spooky Poems and Tales.
No.
Nice.
And it's literally, you know, poems, tales, you know, it's the haunted house stuff. And it's I love finding these things because again, being a DJ back in the day, this stuff was gold, because if you had a really cool segment for a drop in or a scratch in that nobody knew where it came from, and you could throw it in a mix or whatever, people are like, "What the hell is that?" No, can't find. Nope, can't see it. But I still love this kind of stuff.
Who made that?
Yeah, I'll see if I can zoom in and people can.
Who made
it
that?
Or whatever.
That's so cool.
Now,
Yeah,
it's going on Jen's want list.
Yeah, right. And honestly, I don't even remember half of it. I'm gonna have to play it. It's a Scholastic Records thing, you know. It's probably made for the schools that it's Halloween season. Let's play some poetry or whatever. So I just thought I found that. I think I might even found it in a collection that I bought. I'm known to, you know, you see, I'll find like, hey, I'm selling a box of 45s for $30 on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll go through, I'll look real quick, look at the quick condition, you know what? Here's your 30. I'll get money out of it from just sitting at my house playing, looking around these things. So that's
awesome.
Yeah. So I thought that one was going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting close to the end. Next to last one, a great looking picture sleeve. Or if you didn't have one that you wanted to pull, something that would represent a good, you know, fun looking company sleeve. Tobias, what you got for that one?
Yeah, sorry.
Nope.
If people wonder why I have more than a usual nasal voice, it's because I have a cold, so I do apologize. But let's see here. I picked this one. This is Grace Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Love is a Drug. And I had a lot of impressive 7-inches, from 7-inch boxes to poster covers. I have quite a lot of poster covers, but this is one I never showed on my channel even. So I went with this one. And it has a very impressive vinyl itself because it's clear.
Wow.
Yeah. Very, very nice. But like I said, it's a poster covers, and I always love the poster covers because you can buy the single and you can use it as a poster, of course. And this is no.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's a collage of different iterations of Grace. But then
Nice.
Cool.
So cool.
That is so Grace Jones.
Yeah.
It's another one that Jen's putting on her want list.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Tobias.
For me too, because she has to frame one.
Yeah.
He cost me money.
It's
always.
Yeah, I have so many of these poster covers, and I wish I had more empty walls, really, because I would love to put them up, all of them, and especially the Grace Jones ones that I have. I have one for pull up to the bumper as well. That's really nice. But yeah, I went with this one. Great stuff, and a great tune as well. Love is a Drug.
I love all her stuff. All right, so this one when I got there are a lot of ones that are really, really cool. This one, though, I have to say, I love this so much. I don't think camera does it justice. So if you guys have seen this in person, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's Wild Things by the Creatures. So that's Budgie.
Yes.
And that's the back. And then that's the inside. And then the records, there's 2 records, and they are what I love is it's got Susie on the label.
Oh, nice.
And they're so beautiful. And if you like photography and if you like Man Ray, it has that silver gelatin. You can almost see like that style, like a Man Ray style to it, which they were totally going for when they made this. And then to make it even better, I read his biography this year, and he describes making of this particular photo session for this record, and it's so intense, and it's like the very beginning of their relationship, their actual romantic relationship. So it's a pretty intense cover, everything about it all the way around. And I love Man Ray, and so I was kind of drawn to it aesthetically that way. It's just, I don't know, it's so cool. I just think it's so beautiful, and I can't get enough. I'll listen to the records, but I just and I'm a Creatures fan, but I was just so into the cover that, I mean, that's like 80s goals right there. That's amazing. So good. Yeah.
But that's a half the enjoyment, right? Especially back in the day when you bought a lot of 7-inches.
Yeah.
To just look at the cover and listening to the songs and read all the notes, liner notes and things like that.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, there's just so much, but I will say I loved it. Love this before I read his book. I love it even more now that I've read his book, and it's just great. It's just so great. But Creatures are great. If you've not listened to the Creatures and you like Susie and the Banshee, you should listen to the Creatures. A lot more rhythmic, a much more rhythmically driven sound, I think. But that's
nice.
That's my pick.
That's a good
Everybody
one.
needs one. Everybody needs one.
No, the cover photos are great.
Aren't they great?
I'd love to hear the story.
It is. I mean, it's just very like, I think it was literally the height of when they started, like, they were secretly like seeing each other, and there's wine glasses in the picture for a reason, and they get very loosened up, and it's pretty intense afterwards. And their friend started taking their pictures, and then they turned the shower on in the hotel, and then it was just kind of one thing after another from there. And it's there's he also does his books called The Absence, and it's on audiobook too. And so he reads the whole story.
Okay.
So I've read the book, and then I've listened to it numerous times, and it's so cool just to hear it. He has a lovely, soothing voice anyway, and hearing him describe it is pretty epic, but it's good stuff. So yeah. A very volatile relationship for sure.
Okay.
All right, Paul.
For me, this was a quick grab, and like I said, I got into my 45 bucks yesterday, and I was like, wow, I didn't remember buying it. And then it started to click with me. But yeah, me showing this shouldn't surprise some people. But this is Yuri Gagarin. This is the date of his launch up here. And then the back has everything in multiple languages. And I recall I played this once, and it is mission audio from his One Orbit Around. And it is actually a record from the Soviet Union. Well, I don't know how well this is going to come out.
Oh, wow.
It's cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
really cool.
I like some of the Soviet art from the time, and this is pretty representative of the Soviet art from the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder.
It looks very printed, like multi-layer, like the color printing on it looks very pretty. Like
I think it is. And I can't remember if I bought it online or if I bought it. I might have actually purchased it in Russia. So back in the 2000s, it was great because you would go into antique stores and you could find all kinds of old Soviet paraphernalia and just buy it really, really cheap. But unfortunately, one of the things that I've always wanted to own, but I learned about it late in the game, was the Bone records.
Yes.
They cut it into the X-ray film.
Do you have? I did an episode on Bone music.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
And The book, did you see the book I had on that?
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yep.
What a story. And I'm sure you know all the things that are online to watch, but the interviews, the guys who go in and interviewed for that are just, it's intense. What a great story.
Yeah. And it was interesting going over there at that time because people couldn't afford a lot. And so they had this market, which it was just gigantic. And it was 2 stories of, I'd say 90% of it was bootleg CDs and software.
Wow.
So you would go in and you would get bootleg CDs for the equivalent of $1.50. And then you could get Microsoft Windows and everything you ever wanted there for like terribly cheap. But Putin put an end to it when the Russian artists started to get bootlegged and they weren't getting any money. And so he's like, we got to get rid of the bootlegs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah,
fascinating, those kind of things. I have somewhere in my collection still an album, an LP with some of the transmissions from the Apollo 11 moon landing as well. And when I was young, I used to listen to that all the time. I didn't understand much of it because a lot of it is scrambled voices and things like that. But it's all there. And I was so fascinated.
Yeah.
So really fascinating records, especially that one. I mean,
Yeah.
Gagarin,
It's just a nice piece of history.
Yeah, really is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some of those artifacts from the historical side, we get audio files or video files now of launches and you can save them or whatever. But it really was something special when it really wasn't readily available and you would see it and you're like, what does this sound like? And then when you could take it home and listen to it and you just like, you could, try to imagine what it was like to be a part of that. Yeah. Where it added to, I guess, the historical side of it, at least for our generation, a lot more.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you
so for mine, it's funny because I thought about it when, we decided on the prompts, and then I put out a video about a week ago of some stuff, and this band was a topic of conversation because I showed a record of theirs, and I had mentioned that this song was an earworm for me, and I was like, oh wait, I have a picture sleeve of that, and if I remember, it was really interesting because it was drawn art, and that's XTC's "The Mayor of Simpleton."
Oh, nice.
And I just absolutely love the art, and even on the flip,
I like that.
It's really cool drawn art, and it's like, here's a single, right? Would have been what? This came out in the 80s, so it would have been like $2 or whatever. But the quality of work that went into just a single, was just so incredible. And I love this band, and it really is an earworm for me. So I know, again, we could have pulled out. I'm sure we all have. Actually, the very first one we came up with the prompts, the one that stuck out of my head that I almost pulled was for A Space Oddity by David Bowie, with that very young David Bowie, early androgynous look, and it's just very striking. And it's always the picture I've always associated with that single. But then when I'm thinking about this one, I was like, I had to pull that. So
that's nice.
XTC always has amazing artwork.
Yes,
their album
they
covers
did.
were always interesting and different, and there's just something about them that stood out from everybody else's, and their thought process was just different. So,
and
for some, and it always matched the theme of the record so well.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know if you're going for this, but it's like, you couldn't imagine anything else. It tied in really well.
And that's probably why they got away with it, because you can imagine the record companies be like, oh, this sleeve would never sell anywhere because it's. But I'm glad that they got them through. I don't have any XTCs in my collection, but I've seen plenty of them around in the record shop, so I'm familiar with what they've done, and that one was really impressive. Never seen that one before.
The next one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. So
really nice.
So we've reached the end. And in thinking of these prompts, to me, this one I thought was just a great way to kind of bring a capsule onto not just the episode, but recently, obviously, all of the music channels shut down from MTV. You know, the MTV proper still lives and still out there, but all the VH1 classics and everything are gone. And, you know, for the four of us, I can probably easily say we bought so many records and singles because of MTV. So share, and I'm sure we all could pull 75. If you pulled more, that's fine. But share a memory that you have that you were enticed to buy a single from MTV.
Yeah. So in mid-January, me and a friend do something called the Swedish Connection. So we recorded an episode around MTV and the shutting down of MTV, actually. And I happened to publish that episode last week. So it was funny that when you came up with this one, I was like, yep, that coincides with that.
I
but
didn't watch that yet, so I'm looking forward to watching it today.
But I will show you something that I definitely didn't show there. But for me, when we got MTV was pretty late in the 1980s. 88, I would say, was probably the first time I started watching it. So for me, a lot of new electronic dance music that came through at the time was an eye-opener for me. And I don't think I would have come across, or anyone else in Europe at least at that point, have come across KLF if it wasn't for MTV Europe. And they of course started earlier than with this one, with What Time Is Love, 3 AM Eternal, and Last Train to Transcentral. But then they revived an old song that they had called Justified and Ancient, and they brought along none other than Tammy Wynette to sing it. And there is some funny stories around when they brought her in to sing this, because she didn't really understand what she was about to sing. She was like, what does this mean? What has the ice cream man to do with anything, and things like that. They were like, but she did it. She was a trooper. She recorded it, and of course it's brilliant. It's Justified and Ancients by the KLF with Tammy Wynette. Sorry for the pronunciation, but yeah.
That's a good one.
The first
really
of
is.
country, as it says here, that Miss Tammy Wynette.
And honestly, I feel like KLF is one of those ones that's easily overlooked, with so many great songs.
Yeah, and they still hold up so well. They hold up so well when it comes to electronic dance music. They had a very particular style of doing things. And of course, all of it was visual as well. So with MTV, it was a perfect medium for KLF to do showcase both art and music.
So, not to give anything away, Tim has not watched your episode yet, but on the episode or the series within MTV Europe that you watched, was it on like prime time or late night? Like when I think I mentioned 120 minutes, you usually had to watch that late at night. That was like a late night, like we can't show it on the mainstream, you know?
Right.
So I always kind of envisioned that dance party one being more of like a Friday, Saturday night kind of thing.
Yeah, it was. So absolutely. Party Zone, for example, was always late Saturday nights. But that was intentional, right? Because people had that as, the pre-party before going out to the clubs or whatever. So,
yeah.
Or you could just stay home and just listen to it and have a party on your own.
Heck yeah. Well, your episode was like, I swear, I think I did make the comment to you, and I'm not even joking. I called my cable company every day and said, I want my MTV. And we did it for months on end. And I'm sure that cable company was like, oh my God, I hate these people.
And maybe they're watching this now and like, it was you.
Yeah. My girlfriend and I would call every day. I think it was like literally like July of, I don't know, 85, 86, something like that. It was right around John Taylor's birthday. So it was June. And we got it because it was like this big celebration. I remember we're like, oh my God. And that being said, you could pick Duran Duran and all, but to pick a record that I saw on MTV first before I heard it on the radio, which MTV for me was that way because our radio station, although played things, did not play the things like I wanted to hear. So, but honestly, I saw Take on Me by a-ha first on MTV. And
Great
that
choice.
was
Yes.
the standard for videos or how they went forward. And but I would have never have heard this song. I think MTV made it popular, and then we got it on the radio. Like I
You know,
don't think we would have heard it on our radio stations if it hadn't been made popular through videos.
Yeah.
So it was like
That's
a no-brainer. That's classic.
Really good representation. I think that's one video and a song that a lot of people associate with that era.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't even imagine. There's so many. What's funny is that you think of the early years of MTV and it was playing videos that they probably played at clubs that we never would have seen, like disco videos or stuff. You think, how did they ever have a video for that song? But obviously, they got savvy and then it was specific, even more specific than usual. But this, I think, I forget, maybe you guys remember, wasn't it they hired the company to do this video that had done something else for someone else, wasn't it? Like an animation company or
Yeah, it
I'm
was.
forgetting now who that was. And I know I've talked
Something
about
like
it
that.
before, but just kind of stand out. But boy, when I saw that, I mean, I heard it, the music was great, but it was everything all at once. And I was like, well, going out to buy that tomorrow. But I couldn't find it right away either. So it wasn't like you could just run out and get it either. So,
But 1985, that's pretty late to be getting
Yeah.
MTV. Wow.
yeah, I think maybe we got it 84 or something
Okay.
like that. Like it was like it has to be because I think I was 13 or 14 when we got MTV. So that would have been 83, 84, 84 maybe. And this was 86. So
All right. Yeah, because I remember for me it was at least 83, maybe 82, because I got to see Thriller when it premiered, and the damn thing
Yeah.
gave me nightmares at the time. Now it's pretty tame.
I don't know where you were at, and this is kind of my guess. We were situated in between Indianapolis and Chicago. And so Indy didn't always get everything either. The Indianapolis today is much bigger and robust and all those types of things than it ever was when I was a kid. But if you were close enough to Chicago, there's this radius where they like, well, we don't have to bring it any further, right? You can get it from here. And so I think we didn't see a lot of stuff when we should have, because I think the assumption was we were close to a bigger city and they just didn't send it out far enough. So it was terrible. Like, I mean, we were just reading every magazine we could to find out who had it, when they were getting it, why didn't we have it yet? And I think cable in general was just slowly, I mean, we had the university, but in some big industrial factories, but Lafayette was a very, I'm not going to say a rural community, but it was a lot of cornfields and a lot of, like, there wasn't a whole lot like there is today.
Yeah. But I got to hand it to that time because it was forced exposure. Because now it's so easy just to change channel. There's a commercial, I'm going to change channel. But for me, we had a box that would sit on top of our television set. So if we were doing standard VHF, UHF, we'd have to turn the knob. But we got cable, and there was a box, and you actually had to press a button to the channel that you wanted to go to. And it's like, you put it on MTV, and it's like, you're engaged. It's like, I don't want to get off the couch to go change something else. So you got forced exposure, which was actually honestly a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think before we had MTV, we would watch Friday night videos on NBC, the NBC. And there might have been something else. So I think I was watching videos, but not as frequently. And you were kind of hoping that your favorite bands, or you would have American Bandstand, Soul Train, like that was kind of it. And so, yeah, felt, I mean, maybe if anybody's watching this that grew up with me, correct me if I'm wrong, it just felt like it took forever for us to get MTV. Just felt like it.
Yeah, I remember before MTV, I was lucky because we got HBO,
Oh yeah.
and HBO had like a half an hour, like Saturday and Friday, where they would just feature videos before they
Yeah.
go on to the next movie. And that was
We
my,
had did you have the white HBO box with the faux wood on top and you slid the thing back and forth?
yeah, I think we had one of those. Yeah,
Yeah. That was it.
yeah. But for me, I had to take it back to Houston locally.
Yeah.
And based on my 10-minute dig before we got into the video, this is the one I grabbed, and that is
Ah.
ZZ Top's Legs. Yeah. And
That's an iconic one.
yeah, but you think about the lyrics, and I mean, she's got legs. She knows how to use them. I mean, who doesn't know how to use their legs? Come on. Is she paralyzed?
Now. You're being a little too literal. Sarah.
Yes.
And I think that video that took place in like a remote gas station somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. She's got legs. Yeah.
Yes. And she knows how to use them.
She usually just stood around. So I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Perfect example of when parents go, did you hear the lyrics to that song our kids were listening to? And we all were like, I don't know. It seems like general biology to me.
Well, a lot of those things. I mean, I was that age. It just go over my head. Like
Oh, yeah.
the Eagles, "Life in the Fast Lane." I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you pay attention to lyrics in that, and I mean, holy smokes! I mean,
Well,
that
did
one
you guys-
went over my head.
did you watch the Devo documentary yet? Anybody?
Yes.
Oh, is it good?
On Netflix.
Oh, very.
Okay.
And there's a part in there where they're talking about making the video to Whip It. And they're like, well, this is what you want, so this is what we're going to give you, but it has nothing to do with what our song is about, you know?
Right.
But it was funny.
Yep.
But forever, people will think that's what Whip It's all about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I actually have the 12-inch for Legs, the only CC Top record in my record collection.
All right.
Pretty good.
Tobias has a Houston connection. Thank you.
I'm actually a huge ZZ Top fan, and I remember seeing them live, not on that tour, but it was the tour after the Afterburner tour, and just at that point they just kind of embraced the whole, like, you know, we're just old guys. There's a lot of hot chicks in rock. They just embraced it all.
Yep.
And hell, it helped them sell records. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the Eliminator album, I want to say there was like 7 singles that came from that
Yeah.
album.
Yeah,
It was
there's a
insane.
ton.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, I think the best video they ever did from that album was for the song TV Dinners.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Claymation and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is such a weird song that this, yeah. And I think it also speaks to MTV would have just about played anything at that point if it was new, because it kept people coming back.
Yeah.
And for me, my memory of MTV was I would come home from school and it was just me and my mom. So my mom was at work. So I kind of had to run to the apartment. I turn on the TV, I go right to MTV and get a snack and do my homework. And MTV just stayed on until she came home, and she's like, "Oh my God, turn off that crap." You know, so it was just part of my daily routine. So
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, AHA or whatever, I was getting exposed to these new things. And when I thought about this prompt, I thought about not just the song, but the video and the impact it had, you know. And for me, I remember this video because the imagery of it was just so wild. And that's Hungry Like the Wolf.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know, just the girl in the plant makeup, but it's kind of like a tiger or a wolf. And it's in the jungle where there are no wolves. And
Yeah.
Simon Le Bon's like growling back at the girl. They're face to face. And I'm like, what's going on here? Couldn't get it out of my head.
No.
Couldn't shake that video at all. But went out and bought the single. And I remember feeling gypped because the B-side is Hungry Like the Wolf. It's just a different version, or it had like a different middle section. And I was like, well, that's stupid. And then I played one and I'm like, oh, I like that version. I played the other. Oh, I like that version too. So I was like, looking out. But it really came down to me was like, there could have been anything, and the other one that I did pull for this. And it's funny because it just goes to show you that this was art in the 80s. And now it looks like a damn one of them scan things. This is the 7" for Relax.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the video and the popularity of that, I remember people were wearing Frankie Says Relax shirts till of all walks of life. And I'm like, y'all know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
That's another one that went over my head.
Well, you know why you got that one in the US, that cover?
Yeah, the 12-inch, yeah.
That's the cool cover though.
That wouldn't fly in the US.
No,
it wouldn't. And honestly, now I think I have 2 or 3 copies on 12-inch. I have 2 that I found that were in a sleeve together, and when I brought it to the counter, they're like, "No, just take them both." And it's just the generic company sleeve. And then I have another one that looks like this.
Yeah.
Now I got to find that sleeve as well, because to me, that's one of the biggest, like if you have an 80s party and if Relax is not a part of it, you failed. It is one of those, it's so huge. It's not even my favorite song by them, actually. I love Two Tribes a lot more, but
Yeah.
it's such, you talk about a song literally had a movement, that was it.
Yeah. And if you can't find the original sleeve, I'll send you one. I have plenty of duplicates.
Okay. It's not a rush, so.
No, but absolutely. Oh, there is the sleeve.
What a perfect way to end the video, because we started out with the Reflex and we end with Hungry Like a Wolf. And A-side to a B-side.
Yeah. It is pretty perfect. Perfect little package.
Really was.
And it's funny because people don't realize is that we, yes, we email, we talk, we obviously watch each other's channels and try to comment and stuff like that. But we don't plan, when we are sitting down with these prompts, we're shocked what everyone else is pulling. We don't say nothing. And, Jen's got a De La Soul shirt. I'm wearing a Tribe shirt in honor of the passing of Bob Power this past week. It's funny how different walks of life, obviously different geographical areas, the music really does bring us all together, and the love for it and the camaraderie. And we all learned something new today too. So, I always love doing these things.
Me too.
I learned that I need to check out Rush.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'll hold you to that.
Yep.
I can every week I'll be like, here's a new song for you to listen to. And you'll be like,
yeah, absolutely, do it.
just create a Spotify playlist and say, here you go.
Oh my God. Yeah, really. I don't think you can go wrong. So
I wouldn't.
The most expensive 45 that I would like to get is the original first Rush 45 that does not have Neil on it. It's their original drummer, the one that launched there. Yeah, that would be my that's a grail item right there for me.
Yeah, that's got to be a high price record.
I think I've seen them for like $1,200.
Wow.
I mean, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. It could be more or less from now, but they were limited. I only thought they made like 500 or something. I don't think there's a ton of those.
Wow.
But that's a want.
Yeah, that's like U2. U2 issued a 12-inch at their start, and they did a limited run because they didn't know how big they were going to be. And yeah, that 12-inch is like, yeah, it's over $1,000.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
funny too because if you listen to it, because I had a reissue of it or a bootleg or whatever at one point. It's called U2-3, and they do Boy Girl and a couple other songs. Two of them, Boy Girl and whatever the other, Out of Control, were on the Boy album, and it's very much more punk.
Yeah, I can believe it, given the time it was put out.
Yeah, it was that, and that's the thing is that there are so many, elements of the 7-inch single that because it was easy to press and whatever, very regional, for me, it's a format I can't leave because there's so much great soul that's out there. There's so much great hidden gem stuff that's very regional and localized. And I would love to see more of it even get reissued because there's just some great music out there that is still waiting to be discovered truly by the masses in the format.
Next RSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about RSD. I know we're not going to talk about RSD here, but we actually get some of these rarer releases in the new press, or reissue.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it's one of the reasons why I do like RSD. And I mean, we could probably do a dedicated video on RSD if we want.
Yeah, exactly. Watch out for the next one.
Yeah, there you go. Well, folks, thanks again. We do try to keep these short, but we like talking, and we don't get to see. And when the four of us get together, I mean, it's what, 9 prompts, 36 a showing. I mean, it's a lot. So, but go check out all of our channels. Go check out all the content that we're each trying to do and put out. We'll try to put the prompts out there too if you want to play along or make a response or just, hey, you know what? I have a really cool one to add for this prompt or whatever. We love hearing the feedback and it's really all about the conversation because that's what keeps these videos so long. So,
maybe 2026 is the year of the 7-inch, or maybe.
If that's the case, I'm off to a good start because I've already got a bunch that I'm working through right now and realizing, looking through my boxes, I'm like, these are in really bad mess. So if I can get my 7 inches organized this year, it could be an interesting future for some of the content on my channel. So.
There you go.
Good.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody. We always appreciate it, and go follow us, and watch our content.
Except for me, don't follow me.
Now everybody has to go watch Tobias's MTV because it's
yes,
so.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. As always.
For now, that's us here at the Vinyl Bunch.